Hey, it's Wednesday, April 29th, 2020, and it's time for another edition of Evening Jesus. This week, our theme is time. And what we've discovered is that the authors of the Bible had a lot to say about time and how we should spend it. And really, these authors collectively do a really nice job of making sure we know that we're not the reason time exists, that we're not the center of the universe. Now, as an example, let me show you what Jesus' brother James wrote. And he wrote these words that I'm about to read. They're rather sobering, but let's take a look. What is your life? You are a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes. In other words, James is saying our lives are so quick and so short that our lives really aren't worth dedicating our lives to. Right? The glory of our lives is too small a thing for us to live for. Listen, when we're born, we come into the world thinking that we're the point of the world, right? And that kind of lasts for a while, right? Do you remember 16? Right? At 16, you also think you're the point of the world, that you're the sun around which all the planets are revolving, that you're the center of the universe. We come into life thinking we're the point. But as we grow, as we mature, later in life, we begin to ask better questions like, what is the point of life? Not I'm the center of life, but what is the point of life and time, right? Because we realize at some point in our lives that we're not big enough to be the point, that we're not going to really make all that big of a difference in and of ourselves. And we begin to wonder, what is this thing all about? And here's the deal. The authors of Scripture agree on the answer, right? What's it all about? Well, for the most part, the answer to that question, at least from the authors of Scripture, is that, well, you're part of an ongoing story. You're part of a grand narrative, that it's the story of God and that you've been invited to play a role in this story. And your best hope for making a difference, your best hope for purpose, your best hope for leveraging your few years in this life with any significance or in any meaningful way is by discovering what God is up to and playing along with it, finding your place in His story. And what does that look like practically? Well, I think St. Teresa is onto something when she wrote, when one reaches the highest degree of human maturity, one has only one question left. How can I be helpful? How do you live out your role in the story of God? Be helpful. Practice giving your life away, because this is how you make it about not you, and how you practice bringing heaven to earth here and now. How do I give my life away more purely? How do I give my life away more generously? Or we could say, how do I live a life that is more defined by who and what I'm for rather than who or what I'm against? What is your life? On the one hand, you're nothing more than a vapor. But you are a vapor created in the image of the divine, invited to be a part of what He's up to in the world. And I think that's a pretty incredible way to spend your time. Ultimately, I think James is saying, listen, index your heart towards a different kind of awareness and appreciation. And then you will be properly positioned to deal with the vapor. Right? That you may become intuitively aware that this life is all a precious gift. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me this evening, and I will see you tomorrow night.